Welcome back to the Grind, Sleep, Repeat podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 tips to help you get started in building muscle and losing weight while in your fitness journey.
Yeah, these are the 5 most important tips. If you're not going to focus on anything else, focus on these 5 things, and they are going to help you see a lot of results. They're going to take out a lot of the crap and just things that don't necessarily really make a difference. These are the 5 most important things that you should really focus on. Before we hop into today's podcast, if you guys are looking for great supplements that you can take and use as an extension of your diet, go check out our supplement line. We currently have a whey protein powder, we have an electrolyte powder, and then we also have a greens powder that'll be coming out in the next couple weeks. So using these as an extension of your diets, obviously our protein powder you can use to get enough protein throughout the day and reach your protein goals. Our pink Starburst electrolytes you can use to maintain proper hydration and replenish what you lose through your sweat through those hard workouts. And then the greens powder is a great product that you can use to just make sure you're getting the micronutrients that you need, because most people don't get 5 servings of leafy vegetables every day. So great supplements you can go use. Go check them out if you're interested. We will even leave you a discount code in the comments in the description below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can head over to fitgrindformula.com and check it out.
Yeah, we currently have chocolate protein powder, pink Starburst electrolytes, and then our greens product is going to be a mixed berry flavor.
Super pumped about those, yeah.
Super great tasting flavors, and we only have 1 flavor of each, but there'll be more coming soon. But
yeah,
go ahead and give them a try.
Give them a shot. Use that 15% discount code on your first order, and thank you for the support for the brand. Let's hop into the podcast.
I think that a lot of people, when getting started into their fitness journey, they don't know what to do to get started because there's so much information out there that it can become super overwhelming. So today, the whole point is to give you 5 tools that you can do and use to get started. And I think that's the biggest thing is getting people started can be so overwhelming because there's so much things out there on social media and so many different subjective opinions out there that, people say eggs are good, eggs are bad, too much sodium's bad, too little sodium's bad, like all these different opinions and things like that. So just starting with 5 tips and starting with 5 things that you can do to change your life is one thing that we want to help you guys so that you can get started.
Yeah, let's start off with our first one. So first tip. And this is so simple, but so many people get it wrong. And I think where a lot of people mess this up is they maybe will do it correctly for like a day or two, or they'll track and they're like, oh, I'm doing this. But then they won't consistently do this. So our first tip is to make sure you are getting enough protein. It's so simple. But if you are not getting enough protein in your diet, and we'll talk about how much in a second, but if you're not getting enough in your diet, especially if you're trying to build muscle, or even if you're looking to lose weight and burn fat, it's going to be really hard to recover from the workouts that you're doing. It's going to be really hard to not have crazy cravings. And it's just going to be hard to see the results that you want to. So getting enough protein in your diet is essential. No matter if your goal is to lose weight, if it's to build muscle, if it's to maintain your weight, whatever fitness-related goal that you have to have enough protein in your diet. And you want to talk about the specific amounts and the recommendation?
Yeah, so the general recommendation is going to be 0.8 to 1 gram per body weight. And for those of you wondering like what protein is, because that's another misconception that a lot of people have is, peanut butter's protein. Well, yes, there's a very minimal amount of protein in peanut butter. There's going to be better sources of protein to help you reach your protein goals, such as protein powders, like lean animal meats, egg whites. The yolk in the egg is going to be the higher fat, where we get the fat content. Not that it's a bad thing, but just keeping in mind that, the higher fat percentage of the meat is going to give you more fat versus protein. So the leaner that we can keep the meat, and the more egg whites that we have, the more protein we're going to get.
Yeah, that's one, we've talked about this before. That's one area where I think a lot of guys go wrong with their protein is, even if they're trying to lose weight or if they're trying to build muscle, they'll be like, hey, I weigh 200 pounds. I got my 200 grams of protein a day. And then I'll pull up their macros and their fat will be like 150 grams a day.
Yeah.
Fat contains 9 calories per gram. So that's a bunch of additional fat. Even if your goal is to lose weight, even if your goal is to gain weight, you want to make sure they're eating a healthy amount of fat and that we don't just put on excess body fat. Or on the flip side, if your goal is to lose weight, that's a bunch of calories that we can cut out. So to Alyssa's point of choosing lean meats, maybe you are having eggs in the morning, maybe you have a couple whole eggs, and then you're getting a couple egg whites mixed in with that. That's something very simple you can do to where it's going to take out 5 to 6 grams of fat per egg, which takes out, if you do the math, that takes out about 50 calories per egg. So not that that's bad. Not that, don't get it twisted that fat is bad. It's just we want to make sure that we're having the correct types of fat in our diet and also the right amount.
In moderation.
And not have so much fat coming from our protein sources like fatty cuts of meat that it's adding a lot of excess calories and it's not going to help us reach our goal. So protein, number one tip, or the first tip in this list of 5, something you can do today, but a bonus tip on top of that is just make sure that you're doing it consistently. So maybe you track, maybe you're not currently tracking right now and you track your protein for one day, maybe just every week or so, retrack and see where you're at so that you can consistently be having enough protein in your diet, because if you're not, that's where you're going to run the risk of not getting enough protein. It's easy to hit your protein one day. It's hard to consistently repeat that so that you can see the benefits of protein. Like we talked about earlier, if you're looking for a great protein powder to use that as an extension of your diet, go check out our FitGrind Whey Protein. Only has 7 ingredients, 24 grams of protein per serving, and has 0 added sugar. So it's a great way to help get more protein in your diet, to add as a snack, to as an extension of your diet, to help you get to the amount of protein that you have, your protein goal per day.
Yeah, it's a good source to have post-workout too, because it's going to break down quickly, get to your body quicker. But also keeping in mind that we don't want to wait last minute to get the protein in. So if I'm like going throughout the day and I'm tracking my protein, by 3 o'clock and I go, oh shoot, I got to get to 120 grams of protein and I'm only at 50. That means I got to jam pack it all in, and that is not what I would recommend doing. So just for easy math, if you need 120 grams and you're eating 4 meals a day, divide that up, and that would just be 30 grams of protein per 4 meals.
Yeah.
So just knowing, okay, I need 30 grams. What's 30 grams of protein look like? Oh, I think that's about 4 ounces of chicken, a scoop of protein powder per meal. So, and that's something that's going to keep you satiated, keep you feeling full, and keep you from grabbing other things. Whereas if I'm just down in a bag of chips and I don't pair that with anything, I'm more likely to eat that whole bag of chips, versus if I pair that with some protein source, I'm less likely to overindulge in the other foods.
Yeah, for sure. So first tip, protein. Track it today, track it consistently every day, or maybe you want to track it once a week and just make sure that you're consistently doing that.
Second tip is going to be hitting the weight room.
Yes.
So this can scare a lot of people, women especially. When we think of weight loss, we think of, I got to run every day. I got to start, lacing up my shoes and getting in my cardio, getting in my steps and cutting back on calories. But in reality, we should be hitting the gym, because what happens when we hit the gym?
We make gains.
Well, you can go in depth on the muscle building process and how muscle building,
That sounded super douchey. I promise I'll go more in depth on it.
Yeah, it's just how having more muscle can help with, when we're trying to be in a calorie deficit.
Yeah. No, if you are, it all comes back to your goal. If your goal is to lose weight, you need to strength train. If your goal is to build muscle, you need to strength train. If your goal is you're 90 years old and you just want to have functionality and be able to do daily tasks, you need to strength train. So strength training is for everyone for many different reasons. One, the more muscle mass that we have, the more calories we burn at rest. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be easier to lose weight, to maintain that weight loss. And if you're just naturally burning an extra 100 to 150 calories a day because you put on some muscle, that's an extra 100 to 150 less calories that you have to do through cardio or through your diet.
And more calories you get to eat.
Yes, it sounds insignificant, but it will make a huge difference in whatever your goal is. So you're burning more calories. It's easier to, like I said, lose weight. Also easier once you get to that goal to maintain that weight, because we don't just want to work really hard and then all of a sudden, we have to keep starving ourselves for the rest of our life to maintain our goals. That's not how we should structure things. So Strength training can help with that by improving your metabolic rate, also improving your body composition. So when you lose weight, if you don't have any muscle to start with, when you lose weight, you're not necessarily going to love the way that you look. So improving your body composition, when you get leaner, you're going to have muscle to show, versus you might just run the risk of looking skinny, which for guys, it's like, oh no, I don't want to look skinny. For girls, maybe you want to look skinny. But I promise you,
look skinny fat.
Your body composition will look a lot better if you have some muscle developed.
Yeah.
And then also, like I said, just from a functionality standpoint, if you are strength training, you are going to be able to do daily functions, and maybe you're not worried about that right now. You know, you're 20 years old, 30 years old, you can do everything just fine. There's going to come a day when things start to get a little bit harder. I have a client that I train. He's currently 77. He's killing it. I've been training him for over the last 2 years. And before he stepped in the gym, he had never stepped foot in a gym in his life. And what got him started and got him to reach out is he tried to hop up in a skid loader, which would be like, you know, like a box height, maybe 20, 24 inches. And he couldn't do it. He had to like pull himself up with his arms. And he was like, wow, that's different. I never experienced that. So he took it upon himself. I need to do something about this. There might come a time in your life when you run across a situation like that. But if you are being proactive about your health and your fitness and your strength training, you're going to be able to do your daily functions. You're going to be able to do all the things that you need to do, and do something that sounds as simple as getting up from the ground. That's challenging for a lot of people. A lot of people can't do that because they don't have enough strength or muscle mass to do that daily function that we all take for granted.
Yeah, so not only does this help with your functionality, but it's also going to help with, you know, the aesthetic look that you're looking to achieve. A lot of women come in here and say, I want to overall be tone. And while this is such a vague word, when they're saying this, I know that they're not saying they want to be skinny fat and only do cardio. What they're saying is they want to have muscle, overall muscle, and what that takes is going to be strength training. And I think a lot of women see these other women who are in the gym for hours and are eating a lot of food, maybe on some sort of supplementation that is helping them, or they're just genetically blessed. I don't know. But
some exogenous supplementation.
You know what I'm trying to say here. But like it takes a lot of work and a lot of effort to get really big.
Yeah, especially for women, because you don't have the testosterone and the hormones, that men do.
Correct. So the fear of getting big shouldn't even be on your mind, because that alone takes a lot of eating, a lot of work, and like I said, supplementation, probably not so natural, and genetics. But getting in the gym, strength training is going to help give you the look that you want to achieve, and it's going to help you with overall function throughout the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the first thing you got to start doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be every day. At least start doing it. If you're not doing it at all, start doing 2 to 3 times, and then slowly you can add to that.
Yeah. That's going to take us perfectly into our third tip, which is to follow a program, create a program, and just have some structure. So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when they go to the gym, and I just talked about this in a YouTube video on Tuesday, and I went on a whole rant about this. You have to, one, follow a program, but you also have to find some way to get better in whatever capacity that looks like for you. With strength training, a lot of times the way that this looks is you are going to try to get heavier, or you're going to try to get stronger, lift heavier weights, more reps, more sets, that type of stuff. You're trying to overload. On the conditioning side of things, you're trying to improve your cardiovascular performance. You're trying to improve your endurance, your VO2 max. You're setting up your program in a way that's going to help you build and make progress. So if you're on a program, then you follow that program and you see the results. If you come in and you just do whatever, that's where I think people spin their wheels, and they get in this mindset like, oh, I went to the gym 3 times this week. That was my goal. But did you get any better? Did you make any progress? Was that positive towards your fitness goal? Like, that's great. I love when people go to the gym and they're being healthy and they're putting their health first. But if you're not doing just a little bit more than you did last time, and you're not following a structure plan that sets it up that way, you're just going to spin your wheels, and you're just going to get frustrated because you're like, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing this diet, but I'm not seeing results. That's where a program really comes into place. And that's really what we try to create with all the clients that we see one-on-one, all the clients that we train online is follow this program, do this.
Based on their goals.
Based on your goals, and you're going to reach your goals over time with consistency because the program is set up that way and structured that way.
Yeah, not every program is a one size fits all. I know there's a lot of programs out there that you can purchase and not all of them are one size fits all, depending on if that's going to be your goal. Like if your goal is to get a pull-up, a pull-up program is probably going to be a good fit for you. But if your goal is just to get in and start working out, that program isn't necessarily going to be specifically for you. So by hiring a trainer, which is obviously what we do, hiring a coach, if you're not sure about your form and want somebody to help you make sure you're doing things correctly, and if that's not in the budget, there's so many different resources out there. You know, there's YouTube. We post a lot of stuff on YouTube, so you can see form, you can see workout examples, but just starting by like documenting, whether that's in your notes or you get a notebook and go old school, writing down your weights, writing down what you're doing every time you step foot in the gym, and repeating that and giving that at least 4, 6, even 8 weeks, and continuing to do that. While that might seem boring and you know, like really repetitive for some, that's the only way that you're going to get better. Yes, we're doing squats every Monday. We're doing squats. And that while that's like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to stop doing squats? Well, if you keep doing squats and you're just doing 95 pounds every single time, that's not creating any progress.
Yes.
If you're doing squats, you're adding in pause reps, you're adding in heavier weights, you're adding in more reps. Those are the things that are going to help you get stronger.
Yeah. And in turn, it's going to help you build more muscle, help you lose fat, maintain lower body fat percentage. It's all, you know,
Give
part
you
of the program.
body you're looking for.
Yeah, it's all part of the program. So just taking it upon yourself to set up a program or find a coach, hire a coach. If you guys are not local and you're looking for more structure and you'd like to work with us online, we have a form down in the description, or you can head over to fitgrindformula.com. You can fill out that form and it'll give us some ideas on your goals and we can set up a time to chat more. But that's the whole thing behind structure, is it's there to help us see the progress that we want based on the goals that we have. So it's a huge piece. Don't just go to the gym and spin your wheels, because you're going to end up really frustrated and just it's going to leave you with a lot of questions on, is this worth it? What am I doing? I'm frustrated. I'm going to give this up. And then maybe you take a couple of years off, and that's not what we want to do. That's what we want to try to avoid.
Yeah, and can create injury too, because if you're not doing things correctly or you're overdoing, you know, if I'm doing legs every day and I'm hitting legs super hard every day, then I'm overusing those muscles.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to know exactly what you're doing.
Structure.
Or have a program. So
Humans thrive on structure. Tip number 4 about cardio. Cardio is one of those things that people do way too much of, you know, and for the wrong reasons. And that's really the whole tip with tip number 4 is cardio is just a tool. You need to look at it as a tool and don't think of cardio as like, I'm doing this so I can eat this. Yeah. Or it's punishment, or I'm doing cardio so my sole focus is trying to lose weight. Cardio is good at burning calories. Burning more calories helps us lose more weight. But it doesn't mean that just because you do cardio, you lose weight. So use it as a tool, use it as you see fit. But what I would try and focus on more of is try to look at cardio as a way to improve your health, as a way to improve your cardiovascular performance, as a way to become more efficient at delivering blood to your muscles, which is going to carry over to your strength training sessions. So don't look at it as this like single thing that's going to fix all my problems and burn all this fat. Yes, it does burn calories, but look at it as an investment towards your health, as an investment towards your performance, especially if you have performance-based goals like endurance goals, or you want to run a race, or you want to do a triathlon, or whatever it is that you want to do.
That's different, yeah.
The structure of cardio is going to be set up in a way that's going to help you improve your performance.
Yeah, and I think too, like, people think like, okay, I'm doing cardio, therefore I'm sweating, I'm burning this many calories, and they leave the gym feeling exhausted, and they have that those endorphins flowing. And while all of those things feel great, they think when they come in here and lift weights and they're not sweating, they're not winded, that they didn't get as good of a workout. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. A couple things. We all sweat at different rates. Like you could start your warm up and start sweating.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm sweaty.
This is what I'm pointing
I'm
to
a sweaty
you.
guy.
For me, it's like it's going to take a lot more than that to get me to sweat. But also, there's also something said about, okay, am I pushing myself hard enough with my weights to get my heart rate up, to get myself to be sweating?
Yeah.
But I think it says a lot too. Like people go by their like Apple Watches or their heart rates or, you know, things like that and say, well, you know, I didn't burn very many calories. And it's like, you know, those are tools that we can utilize, but that's not what we should be going by. We should be going by, how did that workout make me feel mentally, physically? Did I do my best? Did I hit a PR? Did I fuel around my workout properly? Like there's so much more to be said than just like, oh, I did a bunch of cardio and I got all sweaty and I feel great, and that means it was a good workout.
Yeah. Yeah, the act of sweating doesn't burn any calories. You know, like I could put you through the hardest workout you've ever been through. You're pushing the sled, you're doing burpees, you're doing wall balls, you're doing sprints. You could burn a ton of calories in that session, but is that effective for your goal? Like,
Right.
We don't need to burn all these crazy calories to lose weight. Yes, we need to burn calories through some strength training and use cardio as a tool, but we don't want to overdo it. So I would do at least 2 to 3 cardio sessions a week just to maintain good cardiovascular health. One of those days I would have it be a little more higher intensity. So maybe you're doing some intervals on whatever conditioning modality you like. If it's the rower, if it's the bike, it's the treadmill, whatever it is. And then the other 2 days, have it just be, I'm going to go bike for 20 minutes. I'm going to jog for 20 minutes. I'm going to...
Whatever you enjoy doing.
To start to build it out. Maybe it's 20 minutes, it turns to 25, turns to 30. And you're going to work on more of your aerobic endurance with that. And it's going to optimize both different systems within your cardiovascular system. You're going to work on some anaerobic stuff with the high intensity. You're going to work on some aerobic stuff with the lower intensity. And it's going to help you really improve your endurance and the functionality of your cardiovascular system.
So going into number 5, let's talk about putting our health first. So what those things look like, getting enough sleep, prioritizing recovery, managing your stress, things like that.
Yeah. Your health has to come first. And that's our 5th tip here is you have to make sure that no matter what your goal is, health is at the forefront of that goal. And if you're doing things that compromise your health, maybe we shouldn't be doing them, or we shouldn't be doing them long term. Maybe you have a competition or you have a really hard phase of life and you're not getting enough sleep. Okay, yes, that maybe during that phase, but try and find ways that we can prioritize your health first, because if you take care of your health, your body's going to take care of you. Your body's going to make the changes that you want to see. You're going to be able to have good effort in your workouts and build muscle and lose body fat and really have the mental capacity as well as physical capacity to make the progress changes that you want to see. But yeah, you have to make sure that you're getting enough sleep every night. At least 6 hours. I would try to shoot for more 7 to 8 hours. Make sure that you're properly hydrating, not just with water. Drink at least half your body weight in ounces in water. But if you're somebody that's training hard and strength training, you need electrolytes to replenish the water and the sodium that we lose through sweat. So yeah, all the different electrolytes that you're going to lose through your sweat. So taking 1, maybe 2 scoops of that a day to just make sure you're properly hydrated. Vegetable consumption. Again, this is why we're coming out with a greens powder that should be out in the next couple weeks, where no one eats enough vegetables and gets the micronutrients that we need
with that. The sleep, the recovery, the stress management, the fueling your body properly, supplementing what nutrients it needs, you know. So I think that just alone says a lot too. Is, you know, you come into the gym, you get a hard workout in, and then you go sit at your desk and you're snacking on Doritos and you're not getting any steps in for the day.